In many ways, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev are a good fit for each other. Both men are neighbouring long-time authoritarian leaders of militaristic and fossil fuel-rich post-Soviet countries. And despite Russia's nominal alliance with Azerbaijan's foe Armenia, Putin and Aliyev have over the years developed a pragmatic and cooperative relationship. But since last year, tensions between the two countries have soared, and Azerbaijan has sought to assert itself against Russia. So in this video, we're going to explain why Russia-Azerbaijan relations have collapsed, and what it means for Russia's waning influence in the Caucasus region and beyond. Dive deeper into politics with our magazine Too Long. Yep, we make a real physical magazine. In the latest issue, we discuss if Europe can really defend itself, why people like Putin get away with it, and whether we're observing the end of the American order. Find out more by clicking the link in the description. So, let's start by looking at how Russia-Azerbaijan ties have developed over the years. Both Russia and Azerbaijan emerged out of the Soviet Union, and the two countries developed strong economic and cultural ties. As a post-Soviet nation in the South Caucasus, Azerbaijan was naturally in Russia's orbit, and it was for a while a signatory to the Russian-led Collective Security Treaty, and is still a member of the Commonwealth of Independent States. Over the years, though, Azerbaijan has sought diverse, balanced relations, symbolized by its entry into the non-aligned movement in 2011, and it's balanced its ties with Russia by, for example, developing ties with NATO, whose Partnership for Peace program it joined in 1994. Anyway, recent years have seen some significant developments in the relationship, and Russia's position in the Caucasus more broadly. In 2020, Azerbaijan managed to recapture swathes of territory that had been controlled by Armenian forces for decades. A ceasefire was brokered by Russia, which subsequently deployed nearly 2,000 peacekeepers along the line of control between Azerbaijan and Nagorno-Karabakh, the remaining ethnic Armenian separatist territory. This demonstrated Russia's influence in the region, and the fact that it had not really come to support its ally Armenia showed Russia's strategic interest in bolstering ties with Azerbaijan. But while Putin and Ilham Aliyev signed a declaration on allied interaction in 2022, there were signs that Russia's regional influence was waning, and that an emboldened Azerbaijan was also expanding its partnership with other countries too. In 2021, Azerbaijan signed a declaration with Turkey, already a key military backer, that elevated the pair's alliance. Azerbaijan also deepened its diplomatic, defense, and energy ties with Israel. And following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, the EU signed a deal to double its gas imports from Azerbaijan by 2027. And then, in September 2023, Azerbaijan launched a lightning offensive, in which it captured full control of Nagorno-Karabakh, with no intervention or resistance from Russian peacekeepers, who eventually withdrew from Azerbaijan ahead of schedule in 2024. So the power dynamic between the two countries has already been shifting, but it was the events of the 25th of December 2024 that marked a new deterioration in the Russia-Azerbaijan relationship. 38 people were killed when an Azerbaijan Airlines flight crashed after being shot mid-air by Russian air defenses near the city of Grozny. President Aliyev expressed frustrations that Russian authorities seemingly tried to hush up the issue, and a subsequent evasive apology by Vladimir Putin, in which he apologized for the, quote, tragic incident that occurred in Russian airspace without actually admitting Russian responsibility, which left Aliyev even more unsatisfied. Aliyev publicly pinned the blame on Russia and demanded an acknowledgement of guilt, punishment of those individuals involved, and compensation for the incident. In a sign of the continued strain on the relationship, in May this year, Aliyev declined to attend Russia's Victory Day parade in Moscow, and later that month, Ukraine's foreign minister made a previously unannounced visit to Azerbaijan's capital of Baku. Tensions were high and relations were at a low point, but things got a whole lot worse when, in late June, Russian police raided homes in the city of Yekaterinburg and arrested dozens of ethnic Azeris as part of an investigation into murders dating back decades. Several were seriously injured, and 2 Azerbaijani brothers died in police custody. Azerbaijani authorities said that the brothers had been subjected to torture and murder with extreme cruelty. Azerbaijan cancelled previously scheduled visits, bilateral meetings, and Russian cultural events, and authorities raided the Baku office of Russia's Sputnik news agency, detaining several employees, and a day later arrested 8 other Russian nationals, apparently IT experts and other professionals, accusing them of drug trafficking. They later appeared in court, clearly bruised and bloody, causing outrage in Russia. So Russia then summoned Azerbaijan's ambassador to protest the, quote, recent unfriendly actions and the intentional steps of the Azerbaijani side aimed to dismantle bilateral relations. Russian authorities carried out further detentions of the Azerbaijani diaspora, and then, in an act sure to rattle the Kremlin, Aliyev discussed the tensions with Russia in a phone call with Ukraine's President Zelenskyy, who expressed solidarity with Azerbaijan. While the proximate causes of this collapse in relations are obvious, Azerbaijan's response to both events demonstrate a newfound combativeness by Aliyev towards Russia. So why is that? Aliyev's combative response can be seen as an attempt to try and reinforce his own position domestically, as well as Azerbaijan's position on the world stage. Firstly, a forceful response to the downing of the plane, as well as defending Azerbaijanis from alleged repression in Russia, naturally plays well at home, although we shouldn't downplay the genuine anger at Russia's actions. Secondly, as journalist Bashir Kitachaev points out, Azerbaijani society had for years been consolidated around the fight to take back Nagorno-Karabakh, but the initial euphoria from its successful return is gradually wearing off. So a feud with Russia is a convenient tool for uniting Azerbaijani society again, and distracting from domestic issues like inequality, low incomes, and the repression of civil society. That victory in Nagorno-Karabakh has emboldened Aliyev to be more assertive with his neighbours, in an attempt to bolster Azerbaijan's position as an emerging regional power, while capitalising on Russia's waning regional influence. For reference, neighbouring Armenia has turned away from Russia and is reorienting itself towards the West, a development we previously made videos about. Additionally, a confrontation with Russia may well help Aliyev boost his growing reputation in the West as a reliable partner. Becoming an important strategic energy partner of Europe, hosting the COP29 climate summit in 2024, and now this anti-Russian tilt could all help Azerbaijan shield itself from criticism of its poor human rights record. But at the same time, it's worth saying that neither Aliyev nor Putin have escalated the ongoing feud much beyond verbal confrontation and tit-for-tat arrests. Diplomatic relations haven't been severed, and no new trade restrictions have been imposed, signalling that it's in both countries' interests to maintain the beneficial aspects of their relationship. The sizable Azerbaijani diaspora in Russia sends home a significant chunk of remittances, and Russia is Azerbaijan's top source of imports. Meanwhile, Azerbaijan is crucial to Russia's sanction-free trade, as it connects Russia to Iran, the Persian Gulf, and beyond, via the north-south transport corridor. Nonetheless, this saga does highlight just how much the balance of power in the region is in flux, and even if the two countries do reconcile, it may well be on terms that reflect Azerbaijan's growing assertiveness. Other countries traditionally in Russia's orbit, like say Kazakhstan, will surely be watching closely. This is a complex and nuanced story though, and as such, there's plenty more to read about it online, with 81 sources reporting on it. For this story in particular, they've identified there are at least 21 left-leaning and 8 right-leaning sources reporting on it. In fact, in addition to this, they've also shown the main differences in headlines among left and right-leaning outlets, with left-wing outlets apparently emphasizing moral condemnation, while right-leaning ones convey a tone of pragmatic power projection. We're able to do that thanks to Ground News, whose incredible website and app lets you discover the news and pulls back the curtain on media bias. That's because every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of the political bias, factuality, and ownership of the source's reporting, all backed by ratings from 3 independent news monitoring organizations. But one of the best parts of the app is their blind spot feed. It presents you with stories and articles that haven't been reported on by one side of the aisle or the other, helping you better break out of your media bubble and discover what those on the other side of the political spectrum are really saying. For instance, if you lean left, you might miss this story about Russian strikes hitting Kyiv for a second day, because only 17% of the reporting comes from outlets that lean left. However, if you regularly check the blind spot feed, you get shown what you're missing, helping you keep on top of what the entire political spectrum is thinking about, and why. If you're interested in everything that Ground News has to offer, you can get 40% off the unlimited Vantage plan by using the link in the description or scanning the QR code. This offer is only available here, so make sure you use our link to get started and support an independent news platform working to make the media landscape more transparent.